Hello, everyone. I have a mic drop video for you guys. It didn't dawn on me until I came across info like doing, and I wish that I had a better display of this, but because they're so instant that I rather just show you guys as though I were about to put a slideshow together. So, as Donnie from Daytona would say, hold on to your butts. So, I didn't know where to start. So, let's just give you guys a background on Pharaoh's mummified diseases from opening ancient tombs. There's a hint. There is also you remember how they say the curse of opening tombs? There's illnesses and diseases and whatnot. So I was looking at this, right? Where is it? Where is it? One second, back on me. Oh, here it is. Okay, so April 15th, 2019, there was the fire, the burning of this Paris Notre Dame. And we saw that in iPad Go 2. And what's fascinating is we didn't even realize that the C word 19 had transpired after this happened, allegedly. So if we can trace back to why something like this would transpire into a C word pandemic, this thing is 857 years old. So if the building had burned and it's almost 900 years old and you were inhaling everything from that building, Paris, Italy, so therefore you do have a natural C word. Or if it were I'm just going on a theory, if it were a nuclear attack, same thing. A nuclear attack would come from missiles or weaponry from a particular location. And so certain particular locations, if you have let's say, I have to watch what I'm saying. So let's say you have infectious disease number 1. And location number 1, and then 2,000 miles way across the ocean, maybe 20,000, you have another landmark. So 2 landmarks with a disease that is way across the pond. So in theory, something would have had to happen in both locations with the same chemical weapons, in my opinion, allegedly, to have the outbreak be the same. So it's not a matter of human to human, because it would have already happened years and years ago. So therefore, it's environmental. Something happened. North Korea was testing a lot of stuff too, weren't they? So let's go back to, I asked for the year in Google. Notre Dame Cathedral is 857 years old. It burned last year, April 15, 2019. Then all of a sudden, what happened? People with chronic illnesses got sick first. Everyone is already building antibody. We built the antibodies for it. Some people who didn't complete their antibody process probably got really sick. So that's debunked. So yes, there is a such thing as it's a real. I don't think it was biologically manufactured in a lab, but I do think that there was research that may have been studying the chemical compound of that burn area. There was also this too. I'm sorry, wait, wrong one. Twin Towers, Trade Center. We're not being censored from saying Twin Towers. But the only reason why we're being censored from saying the other one is because it's copywritten, made up. They just made up something because they couldn't figure out what it was. So the Trade Center originally was built in, is that 1973? These are the conditions that transpired right after. There it is. Oh, so Trade Center here, 1973. Look, April again. Coincidence? And then almost to the T, 11 years after, here goes Mr. Gates with his little speech about America's not ready for the next pandemic. So severe acute respiratory syndrome is the causes from breathing in these conditions of buildings, structures that are over 100 or up to 100 years old and more. The treatable biomedical profession requires medical diagnosis, lab tests, and then look here. Short term revolves within days to weeks. How it spreads. So now here we go. It could be human to human. Not human to human meaning like okay, so if someone is infected, right? Saliva, skin, touching, and airborne. Excuse me. So this was printed, I think this document was printed at 2004. Oh no, it says since. But I looked up SARS and respiratory conditions from buildings. And Trade Center, we all know. So if you look at the numbers of people in New York and you look at the numbers of people in Italy, because those were the worst cases, it's insane. Look at the Eiffel Tower, 133 years old. Anyways, back to me. So that's just it. Thing number 2. I went to an art. Oh, geez, this is this is going to be a long one. So where do I start? My dialogue about the buildings, because this was in Mr. MBB323's video. He said, bizarre phenomena appears above clouds. I believe this is Malaysia, because they're the only place, and I prophesied this years ago, that Malaysia is the only other standing twin towers. It has the only standing twin towers. Malaysia. And then remember that plane was missing in Malaysia? So there's a clue there. I'll figure that out later. But that's what transpired me to going, oh. And IPEC go to their towers. It may not be exactly identical. And then there's the chapel that crumbled. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that. The chapel crumbles at the end. So the chain of events in IPEC go to, just to like clarify with you guys, it goes backwards. So if you go from April 19, 2019, that's where this begins, and you think backwards, and the chain of events will happen in that way, where you see Bush and Obama morph into blah, blah, blah. You also see the rings in the sky here. Then you see something happening with Egypt where an asteroid or something, a meteor, collides into the largest pyramid. But that's where I make my connection to, when you open tombs, there's the Egyptian curse. You guys did that. Yep, see? And why are the pyramids in water? Because there's a flood coming. A big flood. And then you see the rings. So we're seeing those now. Back to me. I don't have nothing interesting on my phone. I just have a lot of screenshots. So proof would be this image. A lot of people are seeing these discs. It's translucent for a reason, because it's translucent. The object's so we have no proof that planets are tangible. They can just be plasma. that's what we're seeing. I'm seeing, what is this one? That same object is here. I got this yesterday. See that? So we can already just assume that is Nibiru, that is Jupiter, if we want to, allegedly. But it's translucent. It's if it's a gas or a plasma planet. Oh, I just noticed this. You guys see that? Do you see a hexagram? 5 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I crazy? I'm not crazy. You guys see it. It's a hexagram. I noticed this too. What's weird is I have one on my hand, and I didn't realize that until I sent a screenshot. I have the same. There's a cross, but I was looking at this where I was like, oh no. Well, oh yay, because they removed the chip. You know how we think. And I was like, I have a hexagram, pentagram. I have a pentagram in my hand, and it looks like that too. Right? You guys see that? See if I turn it this way. So I was like, I have no, maybe that's why I have a hex. All right. So moving on. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys, I went to an art gallery yesterday. Not this here, but this picture was the muse of the artist. And mind you guys, the dialogue I shared with you, that this is not Orion, it's Cygnus, because it makes a cross. Cygnus, you're gonna have to go back in my old videos to find it out. But Cygnus is it's a wingspan of a swan with the neck of a swan. Orion has too many more other. So I guess I have to do it. Orion is basically the Da Vinci with all the hands, right? The man with all the hands. And Cygnus is the constellation of the swan, which, if I have it here, I'll just quickly show you guys. How do you reveal this stuff, Aaron? You know what, you guys, I cannot make this up. There's just no way you can make this up. I'll probably have to just do that again. You guys will have to look in my old, look in my old videos for Cygnus, or look for that that painting. There's a video. It has this as the cover. The Salvator Mundi photo. So you notice the eyes there too. Look at the eyes, and exactly, you see how the one on the right, the darkness kind of goes a little bit to the right. I was looking at all of this is all entwined. It's the same eye as this in IPEC Go 2. So I'm like, Salvator Mundi, Salvator Mundi, Salvator Mundi. I'm still not certain. I don't even know what is that on his face. They put so much into this, even down to the nose being the same. The mustache is the same as well. And Ascending Angel 1111, who I talk to every day, she noticed the triangle on the forehead. And then there is a chipped corner of that. Ugh, I don't like looking at it. But I went to an art gallery yesterday. I was invited to look at these paintings, and I was like, this guy's muse was Da Vinci. And here we go with the translucent orb again. Or a halo, or a bubble, or a plasma bubble. So we want to stop thinking that halo is what is a ring over We want to think that it sits behind. Sorry, I'm sleepy. And then here's the Da Vinci arms. That is Orion back there. That's why you see all these solar planetary binary bodies. And I want to make sure I get everything out of the way for you guys. So this, hi, Dad. I didn't want you guys to see that. Same thing. I'm looking at this artist and this breathing machine. I was like, what is this? There's a fallen angel. And then there's the ram's horns, which is carried out throughout the whole thing. So I'm like, what the Little Mermaid is going on? So you guys know how Little Mermaid, the live version, is coming out. There I go. Sorry, you guys, people talking loud. So this was like the artist, censored, no children. This was the artist's muse. Angels, fallen angels, and angels of war. And then the towers again, or a book. You see a book, but do you see twin towers? So I was thinking this whole time, all this is so connected in many ways. So that's the cool thing about being Mr. Wisdom here. And this book I found yesterday on the ground out of nowhere. What Time is Purple? So that'll be another video where I go more into the book and reading the information out of it and translating what that means. But the artist, let's say, last thing, Ascending Angel 1111 pointed this out. She says that the artist's paintings reminded her of the Kraken. It's the same. It's the same image. Thank you, Carmela. In 1801, this was created, the Kraken. And I think this is French, because I see Pierre Denis. So the beast that rises out of the ocean, basically, biblical. It had 10, you guys remember, 10 horns, 7 crowns. So the beast is rising out of the sea. This is basically what all this is saying. And then remember Justin Timberlake? He did this too. Back in, what year did this come out? Was it 2014? No, I lied. That's a total lie. 2009, I believe this came out. 2 years before Bill Gates, his TED Talk. So these probably came out way too early. No one knew what. And now they're coming back. This image is coming back. It's fascinating. I'm tired of them playing with our minds. I really am. But I understand why these things have to be in code, because it advances the DNA, the knowledge, the light codes, and all that stuff that we know. But also, if it's just told directly, we don't grow, we don't ascend, we don't evolve. Darkness helps the light. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.